Okay, so here we are on page 49 of our books. Hopefully you guys have had a great holiday. Sorry I can't see you in person. It'll be great to catch up, but soon enough we'll find out what's happening. Over the next few weeks, over the next 2 weeks, we really want to probably finish probability concepts, maybe at the end of next week. We'll see how we go with it and with what Mrs. Saywell's doing with her class as well. But we'll keep moving on anyway with page 49. I know some of you would have done this, but if you need to go over it, we'll go over it. So we've got mutually exclusive events are two events that can't happen together. For example, the probability that it will rain tomorrow and the probability that it won't rain tomorrow. They're mutually exclusive. They can't happen at the same time, although that's more a complement thing, which we'll come to later on. But probability that when I've got a bag of red balls and blue balls in the bag, the probability that I'll get a red ball is mutually exclusive from probability I get a blue ball. Okay, so if we look into here, we'll just get started on here. So when we've got mutually exclusive events, probability that the intersection of them is 0. There's no intersection between them. Excuse me. Okay, so because the probability is there, the probability that it's A or B is the probability of A plus the probability of B. So the Venn diagrams is your B is quite separate from your A. When we look at the table here, which some of you like, I think most of you actually like Venn diagrams, it means the probability of A intersection B here is 0. This one, of course, comes from the probability that all of adding up all the probabilities. Here's an example here. In a normal 52 card pack, hearts and black cards are mutually exclusive. You can't have a card that's a heart and a black card. So that's why the probability of that is 0 here, and there's no intersection in the middle here. So the probability of a heart or a black card is the probability of the heart plus the probability of black card. So the probability of a heart is a quarter. The probability of a black card is a half. So if we add those two probabilities, and that's where we get the probability of 0.75. How to fill in this table here is that we know the probability of getting a black card is 0.5. So if we know that probability is 0, therefore the probability of getting a black card, black card that's not a heart is 0.5. And then you can fill in the rest of the probabilities as well, because we know that this must be 0.5. We know that must be 0.25 because the probability of getting a heart is 0.25. So the probability that it's a heart and not a black card is 0.25. So we can fill in the other gaps. And of course, our probability of A intersection B is 0. Right, moving on. Hopefully that makes sense. So when they're not mutually exclusive, they can occur at the same time. In the Venn diagram, the circles overlap, and we get the probability of A intersection and B in there. So when we're looking at the probability of A or B happening, so here's the probability of A, here's the probability of B. But if you notice, I've shaded in the intersection bit twice. So if we're actually calculating it, it's going to be the probability of A plus the probability of B minus one of the intersections, because I can't count them both. So that's why that minus A intersection B is there. And of course, the probability of A intersection B, of course, in this case is not 0. And that's where it's shown in this table here. If we look at the probability that drawing a card is both 6 and a heart, which can happen, of course, so there is an intersection in between. To find the probability of it, we go the probability that it's a heart times the probability that it's a 6, which is 1 over 13. We multiply those two probabilities together, and that's where we get 0.192. Now, what we do know, the probability of getting a 6 is 1 over 13. So 1 over 13 is 0.0769. And so from that, you can subtract the 0.192 to get what this value here is. And that's what you can do with all of those numbers. It's all different, and they have to all add up to 1. So the probability of getting a 6 that's not a heart is 0.0577. These probabilities here, of course, the probability of getting a heart is 0.25. The probability of not getting a heart is 0.75. So the probability of drawing a heart or a 6 from a 52 card pack is a probability. Now we go back to this probability, which we saw at the top. This is such an important one, and that's why they have it on your formula sheet so you can see it. With the mutually exclusive events, just remember that that probability of A intersection B is always 0. So here, the probability of A is 0.25, which comes from that bit there. So that's the heart. The probability of a 6 is 0.0769. And we subtract the intersection, the probability that it's both of them. And so we get this probability that it's that or a 6 is 0.3077. That's why this formula you'll use a lot. And if we look onto this one, I don't know why this page has gone a bit smaller. Just make it bigger there. 2 events are complementary, and this is probably what I said before about the rain and not raining. Both of the probabilities add to get 1. It's certain that it's either going to rain tomorrow or not rain. These events are also mutually exclusive. So the probability that A union A dash, remember we sort of looked at it this last at the end of last term. The probability that they added together equals 1. So the probability, of course, of picking a red or black card from a 52 card pack, of course, must be 1 because they're either red or black. Hopefully that's helpful. So that can keep you going a little bit further on. We might, what I might do next is a video on conditional probability. We'll do that, and then we can do that. But you can certainly start working from page 55. So look, all of the information I'll give you is on Schoology, and I will start a discussion on Schoology as well. So it's an open discussion. So if you need help with a particular skill or something like that, other people might be keen as well. And so we can organise a Zoom or Schoology conference or something like that we can actually get together and do that. But please, one key thing with us, please communicate. If you need help, don't struggle. Just give us a yell, and we're only too happy to help. But good luck, girls. I know we're going to make this work. Sweet.